Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Wake up at Holiday Inn Express to a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. Count on all the hot, fresh coffee you need and an incredible breakfast buffet that has something for everyone, like eggs, cinnamon rolls, and even hot, fresh pancakes with all the toppings you crave. Next time, do yourself a favor and stay at a Holiday Inn Express with a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. So, when you wake up at Holiday Inn Express, you'll wake up happy. A part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.
Johnny Dollar.
Bert Helfer. Johnny, Merry Christmas to you.
Well, hi, Bert. Same to you.
Thanks.
Only what are you doing in your office on a Friday afternoon so close to the big holiday instead of out shopping?
Well, I'll tell you, Johnny.
Now, listen, Bert, I'm over not taking on any investigations till after Christmas.
Okay, by me.
Hey, Bert, you sound terrible. What's the matter? You got a cold?
Oh, a horrible one. I've had it for a week.
Well, why are you still there in your office at this hour instead of home in bed?
Well, I'm just cleaning up before I take a couple of weeks off. Johnny, can you come on over?
Now?
Now.
No. Any new assignment's going to have to wait till after the holidays.
Well, sure.
I mean, I would kind of like to have a few days free myself, so wait till after Christmas, will you?
Well, sure, I'll be glad to, but who said anything about an assignment?
Well, isn't that why you called?
Not a bit of it, so come on over.
You're not kidding me now, are you, Bert?
I just thought you'd like to pick up the dough for that San Francisco job you did for us a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
Don't tell me you're so rich you'd forgotten about it. Well?
I'll see you there in your office in a few minutes.
Right.
Only, Bert.
Yeah?
You're sure now that's all you really want me for?
That's all, Johnny.
Now, you won't try to finagle me into some job you just happen to think of after I get over there.
Honor bright.
Okay, Bert. I'm on my way.
The CBS Radio Network brings you Mandel Kramer and the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Democracy. It provides a more perfect country. It builds a greater economy and creates a higher standard of living. It enables men to fulfill greater ambitions. It secures the blessings of liberty for all who live under it. And democracy strengthens character. With strong character, the people who practice democracy can push forward to ever-widening horizons, to even more fruitful goals. The rewards are there for those who have the courage to work for them. This courage and strength of character give assurance that democracy can provide mankind with its finest legacy of freedom. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Trinity Mutual Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Phony phone matter. Expense account item 1. After checking out with my call service, $1.20 for a cab over to Bert Helfer's office high in the tower of the Manley Building overlooking most of the city. Lo and behold, there wasn't a soul in the place except Bert himself. Most of the lights were off. The rows and rows of typewriters and calculating machines were covered in quiet. The filing cabinets neatly cleared and closed. Even the telephone switchboard off in one corner was untended, although I noticed one patch cord plugged in, the tiny light above it burning. It was Bert's line in use.
Yeah. I'll take care of it just as soon as I get back here in the office again. Yeah, that'll be on Tuesday, January 2nd. Good. Thank you, and a Merry Christmas to you, too. Hi, Johnny, sit down.
Well, I'll say this for you, Bert.
You are certainly the loyal company servant.
Well, I just want to be absolutely sure everything's taken care of so they won't be calling me down there in Miami Beach to lay down my water skis and come back here before my vacation's over.
Oh, I can't say I blame you.
And here you are, baby. Here is the money for that San Francisco job. You want to count it?
How come in cash?
Don't you still have some Christmas shopping to do?
Don't we all?
Mm-hmm. And the banks will be closed by the time you get out of here, so... Well, I just tore up the check and pulled this out of petty cash.
Well, good for you. And hooray for petty cash.
I must say, though, there's nothing petty about the way you can run up an expense account.
Oh, Bert. Only trouble is, with all this dough in hand, I'll probably go out and spend a lot more than I ought to.
Oh, sure, on all that flock of gals you keep on the string.
Jealous, Mr. Married Man?
Sure I am. Only I'm not really. Don't you kid yourself, baby. One of these days you'll put on the halter, too.
Fat chance.
Now, here, if you'll just sign this receipt.
Mm-hmm. There you are.
Good. Oh, and here.
Mm-hmm.
I almost forgot. While you were on your way over, your telephone answering service called with this message.
Oh?
Yeah. Call Exmont 35770 immediately, urgent.
Who is Exmont 35770?
You don't know?
No.
Well, I'm afraid I do.
Who?
Is the home of a character by the name of Harvey L. Hallett.
Harvey L. Oh, wait a minute. Any relation to the people who took over that little plant that I passed on the way over here? Hallett Industries?
He is Hallett Industries.
Oh?
Yeah. Look. You can see the place out of this window. You see it over there?
So?
You know, I hate to admit it. One of the boys in the office sold him a lot of insurance when he took over that place about 6 months ago.
Well, what's the matter with that?
Oh, we've had a big headache with that account on the inventory insurance.
How do you mean?
Well, apparently they make a lot of electronic stuff over there, and a lot of it's kind of secret, I guess, kept under lock and key.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it's been reported stolen. 6 burglaries in the last 6 months, according to Mr. Harvey L. Hallett. And we've had to pay off through the nose.
Why do you say according to Mr. Hallett?